You're still watching the National Science and Math Quiz, the 30th edition for this year, and I have the woman behind it all, the managing director for Primetime Limited, to have a short interaction on how the journey has been so far. It's been 30 years, 1993, all through to 2023. Madam, good afternoon and welcome to Joy News.
Good afternoon, thank you.
You're welcome. So I just want to find out, how has the journey been so far from 1993 up to this point? You are still there. Not when anyone hears National Science and Maths Quiz, they know it's that season for excitement and heartbreaks. How has it been?
Well, it's been exciting for us all to see the schools develop and progress through the rounds, and year in, year out, we have more schools coming in. At the time it started, there was 32 schools in total, 16 for the southern sector, 16 for the northern sector. It was also segregated along those lines, and then along the way it became one competition. I believe that was in '96, one competition for everybody, so that you can have schools in the Volta region pitted against a school in Western region or in northern region. So it's been good to see the development, the change, the interest the schools place, on the competition, the premium, the old students place on the competition, and how they galvanize themselves to support the schools, putting in infrastructure and other support services so that their schools can do well at the competition. It's also been really stressful because, yes,
it's not easy at all. I know.
Funding for a program like this, especially one of this size now, we deal with over 500 schools every year. Every year. Since 2014, we've had over 500 schools participating every year. And so we've had a lot of sleepless nights when there has been no money for the competition, and just trying to make things work within our circumstances. But it's been really exciting. I always tell people that I grew up on the competition. So as you know, the competition was started by Dr. Akua Aboagyewaa Mensa-Bonsu, who was then managing director of Primetime. That's my father. So he started the competition in 1993. I used to go after school to go watch, and during vacations to watch the program. And then in 1999 and 2000, that's the 18-month break that used to be there for students moving from secondary school to university. In those days, I spent that time interning at Primetime and working as a production assistant on the program. So I used to help to make sure that the production crews' meals were ready on time, that the food was done. I used to help Prof. Marion Ramadi, who was the quiz mistress then, with her costume, with her clothes, with her makeup. I used to powder the students' faces before they went up on stage. And then I started running the program myself in 2013.
And I must say that all these years, you've had quite an experience on the National Science and Maths Quiz. And just so you know, over the weekend, the National Science and Maths Quiz won 2 awards from the CIMG Awards. I think we had TV Program of the Year. Yes. And definitely, it's been 2 consecutive. Or how many years have you won this particular award?
We won it first in 2017, and then this is our second one for 2022.
2020, and then definitely this year too. We are going to win, or next year. All right, so now let's delve into the conversation yet again. Yeah. You've been you tell me you've been powdering Miss Rama, Professor Irama Adi. How was it? I want to know. She was the first quiz mistress. How was it, your experience with her, and how was she like?
Oh, she was very friendly. I mean, she was nice to talk to, and I had a lot of admiration for her. I know for a fact that the reason why it was a woman who was used was because Primetime wanted to show, my father wanted to show that the face of science is a woman's face.
Interesting.
To encourage the girls to offer science. In the past, and this is 30 years ago. A lot of things have changed since then. There are schools who have actually told us that they didn't have science departments before, but they built their science departments through the National Science and Maths Quiz, and they've been participating for some years now. But you see that his first aim in producing the program was to show that science was not some strange thing that only certain kinds of strange people, nerdy people can do. They wanted us to see that science was an everyday part of life. You know, the story of the idea of doing the science competition came from him playing at the tennis court at the Legon campus and seeing pigeons on the live wire. Yes, on the transformer, on the wires, and
I was just wondering why
how they could stand on the wires and not be electrocuted, and a human being could not. So it was from there that this idea came up, and I think that we've been largely successful with promoting girls in science, and that's why all these years, all our major quiz mistresses, I mean, we've had females, so starting from Prof. Rama Adi, and then next to Dr. Eureka Domako, and then to Professor Elsie Kaufman. We have 3 other quiz mistresses who are supporting her at the lower level, so the prelims and the 1/8. So we have Dr. Thelma Ohine J, we have Dr. Anita Opong, who is a former contestant.
Interesting.
Ghana National College 2005. Okay. She was on the team.
Okay. I see.
An actual contestant on stage. And then we have Mrs. Gladys Stringer, and they have been doing the prelims and the 1/8, so that Prof. Elsie Kaufman does not have too much to do, because we are doing 79 contests at the national. That's a lot of contests, And I
quite remember those years. It was just Prof. Ifa Kaufman doing all of them right from the prelims. Now we are having the quiz mistresses, so it's quite going to release some ease.
Yes, I mean, at that time we were doing 67 contests, not 76. Yes, it's grown. The competition has grown. If you're talking about the 30, this year we have the private schools coming in as a block. So we have 7 of them participating this year. This is the first time they are coming in such numbers, and we hope that as the years go by, more of them will come on board, so that the competition will be truly even more national in character. It won't be just because of geographical locations, but also because private and public have come together to compete and to select. It's a selection process, right? who's really tops when it comes to science and maths in Ghana.
Okay, I think during your conversation, your submission, you made mention of the fact that some schools have actually been able to establish departments of science. During my tour with them, I engaged a school from Bumprugu, and through the science and maths quiz, they actually had I think 2018, the teacher was bringing just a Greek students. So he realized the need for them to establish a science department. And then now he's the HOD, but he tells me they are only doing, I think, biology and physics or so, or chemistry. They lack one of the courses. And it tells that the science and maths quiz is having impact out there.
Oh, yes, it is. I mean, I met the team this morning from Bumprugu. This is their second time on the competition. Last year, we made a concession for the schools that lost their regional contests but earned more than 40 points. And one of them was Wesley High, which is in Bekwai. And that was their 3rd batch of science students. And I mean, 3rd batch ever of science students. And it was because of the National Science and Maths Quiz. There are many schools that didn't have science departments and now are participating. So it's testament to the strength of the program. It's testament to and we're really happy when we see these things, especially when we see old students giving back to their schools. It tells us that we have been able to achieve one of our aims, which is to support the schools. When your old students give back, they take care of the school in a way that they probably didn't before. And so it always makes us happy when we see these things happening. I tell my team that we've caused a revolution without picking up a sword or a gun or anything of that sort. We've caused a revolution because now the schools pay so much attention to them. And I want to say this to buttress the points that I've been making to different stakeholders, that it's about the preparation. If you give yourself enough time, you select your team early, you invest in the infrastructure and the resource materials, so the books, periodicals, journals, and you put in the effort, you will do well in the competition. Even when you don't have a strong team, you'll still go far in the competition. You see that some schools have actually institutionalized the process, and they are reaping the benefits.
Now let's touch on the fact that these schools you mentioned, that I wouldn't say less endowed or those who come, but they don't really get far through the competition. Is there any incentive? I know sometimes you need these incentives to push you through this competition. Is there any award sort of a thing for any of these schools that might go far in this competition or at least be seeded?
Oh yes, I mean since 2017, we've instituted awards to encourage the lesser known schools or those who are not so strong to do well in the competition. It's some kind of way to encourage them. We have 2 prizes. So the first one is a Primetime Award. That's in the name of the founder of the quiz, Dr. Akua Aboagyewaa Mensa-Bonsu. We have an award called the Most Impressive Run. So it's given to usually the category C school that goes the farthest in the competition with a minimum of quarterfinals. So if you get to the quarterfinals and above, then you can win the prize if you're a category C school. There's also a component, and this most impressive run, the KMB prize, that's what we call it, is for the students, and it's worth 7,000 cedis. Now there's a complement that has been instituted by a family. So the Banfo family has since 2019, I believe, been sponsoring or 2018, been sponsoring a prize that is a complement to, it's also called the Most Impressive Run. So they instituted it in the names of their parents, Jacob and Elizabeth Banfo, who were teachers. So this prize is to the teachers of the school that wins the most impressive run, and it's a prize of 10,000 Ghana cedis. Then we also have Newmont giving a prize we call it the Golden Journey. So that one can be for a category B or C school that goes the farthest. And last year, I believe it was Ebiri Presby that won it. I believe so. Or Abetifi. I think it was Abetifi. Yes. And then last year, the Eastern Region Presby schools,
right? They were all there. I think the semi-finals they were there.
Yes, they blew us away, and all of this goes to show that it's not always that, the traditional, what we think are the traditional top schools that go far. Some of them dropped out at the prelims or the other 1/8 levels. Yeah, some of them dropped out at the 1/8, and they are here at the regionals. We had Wesley girls dropping out for the very, very first time. There was no girls' school in the quarterfinals, and they are starting from the regionals. They started from the regionals this year. They are here at the prelims. I hope that this encourages them to fight harder and to go up in the competition. This year, I'm hoping that a girls' school can win it. I mean, it's my most fervent hope.
It's going to be exciting when the 30th edition of the National Science and Math Quiz is won by a girls' school.
It would be. It would be all over. Everybody is happy to see the girls do well, and everybody is sad when the girls don't do well. Last year, everybody was so disappointed, and it wasn't just us as the producers of the program or those working on the program. I mean, all of Ghana was disappointed that the girls didn't do so well. See how we cheered Francisca Lamini on 2021 Ketasco, and she was the only girl we'd seen since 2013 when Infantiman was at the final. So everybody was making a lot of noise about her, and that's what we want to see this year. We want a girls team to go all the way up and win the trophy.
All right, sure. Thank you, ma'am. I've been interacting with the managing director for Primetime Limited. They are the producers for the National Science and Math Quiz. And she personally is rooting for a girls' school to win this year's National Science and Math Quiz. And it will be quite interesting that we have a girls' school winning it, the 30th anniversary. So, madam, thank you so much for joining me for this discussion.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much. So that will be all. We'll be interacting or engaging more with the students and contestants, and we'll be updating you timely on the National Science and Math Quiz. Stay glued to the Joy News channel. My name is Emmanuel Brandt-Kweku.